The spectral form of a man actually tried to prevent her from entering a room, and she had to force herself past it in order to get by. Lilburn Castle. Up the narrow winding College Avenue in Ellicott City looms the Stoic Lilburn, built in 1857 by Henry William Hazlehurst, and most recognized by its parapet-adorned tower. It's an ideal location for a house of its nature, overlooking the Ellicott City Historic District like a hilltop castle guarding the countryside, battlements at the ready. Given the political climate at the time, that may not be far from the truth. This restored 20-room granite mansion, complete with a bell tower, carriage house, cottage, and one of Howard County's only 3-story smokehouses, has become known to many as the most haunted house in Maryland. Henry Richard Hazlehurst was a mechanical engineer who partnered with B&O Railroad Master of Machinery James Murray to build steam fire engines for Baltimore and marine engines for the United States Navy when he built Lilburn. He would later make his fortune in the iron industry during the Civil War, after which he settled into farming on his 7 acres of land. His wife Elizabeth, known to friends and family as Lizzie, was a devoted lover of flowers and spent much of her time designing arrangements in the gardens lining the estate. Unfortunately, the Hazlehurst family spent a significant amount of time grieving the loss of loved ones at Lilburn. Lizzie, as well as several of their children, died rather prematurely in life, and it has long been believed that one of their daughters died at childbirth at Lilburn. Henry outlived the majority of his family and passed away in 1900 at the age of 85. The first signs of paranormal activity at Lilburn Castle were reported after the John McGinnis family moved into the Gothic mansion in 1923. The most common occurrence they encountered was the sound of footsteps heard within the ominous tower that once stood at the back of the house where the battlements now rise. When noises began emanating from other locations around the mansions, the residents began believing that the ghost of the Hazlehurst daughter, who had died at childbirth, had returned to haunt her childhood home, tormented that she had lost her life before experiencing raising her baby. These rumors began circulating around town, and the legend of Lilburn spread. There is much more to talk about around Ellicott City when Lilburn nearly burned to the ground one holiday season from a Christmas tree fire. Most of the original structure was destroyed, although fortunately nobody perished in the blaze to add more souls to future hauntings. However, the hauntings escalated after McGinnis rebuilt the mansion and decided to replace the old tower's steep roof with the current parapets. Reports of strange sounds and occurrences from this area of the house increased and caused people to speculate that Henry Richard Hazlehurst had returned from the dead in defiance of the architectural change. More of the same was reported about Lilburn for years until Sherwood Baldersons purchased the mansion in the 1960s. It was under Balderson's watch that reports of supernatural activity began to transcend that of previous generations. The family dog was particularly tuned in to the forces at Lilburn, visibly afraid in the mansion and refusing to go near a small room along the second-floor hallway. While unusual sounds that had always been reported, such as footsteps, continued to be commonplace, new brands of eeriness began to take place. Lilburn Castle's parapet-adorned tower has large casement-style windows, which had problems staying shut. Tired of repeatedly closing the tower windows, Mr. Baldersons, in an act of desperation, tied down the windows from the inside with rope. When he traversed outside to examine his work from the mansion grounds, he was aghast to discover that the ropes had been loosened and the windows opened. The tower windows would remain a perpetual problem for years, something unseen insisting they remain open. Another notorious incident occurred during a dinner party hosted by the Baldersons. They had organized a social event for a number of friends, and as the evening waned, many of them began remarking about the crystal chandelier swinging about in the dining room. They were distressed at the action of the chandelier, since there was no breeze of any sort to propel it, but the Baldersons chalked it up to another haunting by one of their resident spirits. It seems the ghost of Lilburn also had a particular affinity for the Baldersons' housekeeper, On a number of occasions, she told stories of hearing a child crying and of smells emanating from the library that resembled cigar smoke, although no one in the mansion smoked cigars. She's also the only person to have reported seeing apparitions at Lilburn. The housekeeper described how she had once seen the ghostly image of a small girl in a chiffon dress roaming one of the mansion hallways. During another incident, the spectral form of a man actually tried to prevent her from entering a room, and she had to force herself past it in order to get by. The Baldersons eventually sold the mansion to Dr. Eugenia King, who lived there for a number of years with her son Jeff. During their stay, they reported a number of the same strange occurrences as the Baldersons. Dr. King had identical problems with the tower windows as Mr. Balderson's, closing them only to have them opened by unseen hands. The dining room chandelier also swung about on its own from time to time, as it had during the dinner party. The ghost of Lilburn did pull out a new trick one time when a vase of flowers started pouring itself out without warning right in front of Dr. King. Perhaps gardening enthusiast Lizzie Hazelhurst didn't approve of the doctor's floral decor. Eugenia sold the mansion in 1983. Since the time Dr. King sold Lilburn, the mansion has been in and out of a number of hands. The Whitney family purchased the house in 1983, investing considerable time and money into the castle. Julie Whitney claimed that her family never experienced any supernatural occurrences, and that their initial fear of living there was simply due to the morbid state of disrepair of the structure. However, the Whitneys only stayed in the mansion until 1988. In 2005, Thomas and Deborah McGinty, who had just bought the property the year prior, revealed plans to turn Lilburn into a 4-bedroom bed and breakfast, utilizing 2 rooms in the main house and 2 rooms in the external cottage. Conditional use was approved by Howard County in February 2006, but in a strange turn, the mansion was put up for sale again that October. By summer 2007, new owners had moved in, and the mysteries of Wilburn Castle were ready to be passed on yet again. Thank you for watching Friday Night Ghost Frights. Please let us know what you think of our show in the comments below. And if you have not yet, please subscribe. I'm Mike Ricksecker. Until next Friday night.